So I guess I just put a door as a first slide because I wanted to invite you all for some of the experiences I had and some of the discoveries I did during the last few years. But before we go anywhere, can I first invite you all to stand up a little bit? Sorry, but I think it would be nice after lunch, you know, just to relax a little bit, stretch one side, the other side. Can you, yeah, please, like, just do like this. Sometimes, you know, makes a difference. Well, okay, it's just, you can sit down now. So, when I think about the world we live today, I feel my role as a designer is no longer to create just more and more stuff, right? But instead, to create a favorable field for transformation. And so I became a creative facilitator. As a facilitator, design for me became more a process rather than a goal. Some words as caring, interdependence, collective intelligence, and collective creativity appeared in my dictionary. And when I introduced these words to my working process, the results became a collective construction of knowledge and innovation. So, as the basis of the work is exchange, really, for the past 12, 13 years, I've learned a lot from many different experiences that allow me to review myself many, many times, actually, transforming my visions and adding new meanings to it. I feel I'm very much part of this transformation process. But, well, here it's how it starts. I grew up in São Paulo, Brazil, this big city, as you can see, with 80 million inhabitants. And as in any big city, we tend to run and live by the clock with no time for nothing that is around us. We have no eyes for what's going on around us. So when I was 22 years old, maybe the same age as you are, or around the same age as you are right now, I was recently graduated as a product designer and had the opportunity of spending some time with a family in this fisherman village located in the northeast of Brazil. Living with them, I became an observer. As it, I could feel a glimpse of happiness every time I realized a unique solution developed by them, adapting the resources they had there. I was fascinated about the tools the fisherman was using to fix his boat, about the toys children created. 20% found stuff, 80% their own imagination, but I can guarantee super fun. Oops. About the organization and natural sense of aesthetics, about the inventive kitchen tools. It was a tin can that she just adapted to peel with. The little garden for spices made with this old canoe and suspended by the ground, from the ground by these two trunks shaped V, and using old fishing nets for protection. For me, it was pure originality, functionality, and beauty. Did you ever stop to think how different we are one from another? Through this experience, I started to see this big difference between us as a precious resource. I became very curious about how each individual sees the world, how each individual interacts with the world, and how individuals together can bring solutions to the same world. It was when I started to see design and its possibilities in a totally new way. This experience taught me the meaning of the word abundance. I learned that a process that has its basis on people, available resources, dreams, and action can definitely happen anywhere a change is needed. So right now, I'm here in Hong Kong. And I'm doing a very interesting workshop at Hong Kong DI with my dear friend, Dr. Yankee Le, somewhere out there. The workshop, it's about aging and happiness. It's a workshop to broaden the students' perspectives and their reference as well. Would be very nice to show you the results of this experience, but unfortunately we are in the middle of this process and I can only give you a taste of what we've been going through so far. But I want to invite you for a little journey through other three very different experiences that happen out there, exploring what I, over the years, learned to call the abundance perspective. Okay, so the first stop is going to be in rural Brazil. This project is called Caboclo. It's an ongoing project with shoemakers in this region called Cariri, located in the northeastern Brazilian state of Ceará. This place has a precious historical background. It was the cradle of the leather civilization. In that time, artisans developed a deep knowledge to deal with leather, and this became a tradition passed from generation to generation. Nowadays, the heirs of the leather civilization lost the track of the work created by their relatives, so they no longer can survive from this work. Understanding that this knowledge was about to fade away, we started a working process with them, learning deeply about this culture. So the idea was to reestablish the work of the master craftsmen by valorizing their knowledge and the traditional techniques. So respecting the timing of the handmade production and the environment, we chose to work with chrome-free leather, even knowing that the tanning process using chemicals takes 24 hours, and the tanning process without chemicals will take 24 days. We also gave old tires new life by using this available material as shoe sole, as you can see. So the whole idea was, as the Brazilian writer Antonio Lino says, heading towards future, make present the best of your past. I feel every time I read this, I just feel like there's something really right about this phrase, you know. So the research of the local culture gave us information to jointly develop new quality products. I feel that when they amplify their repertoire, they recycle themselves, and they have this chance of re-emerge. The refreshments in these products call attentions of national and international markets. And I think that when buyers and consumers bought these shoes, they were actually buying a full story with a unique and original product. With the public acceptance and demand for the shoes, we were able to invite other senior artisans to join this value network. So today there are 23 artisans divided in 5 productive units, selling their products to over 10 different countries. We, in the project, believe that all elements of a specific culture is relevant enough to generate originality and beauty. The results I show you here are fruits of a great collective effort to make something nice come true. Somehow, these actions return to the community, feeding a cycle of construction and promotion of this so important regional culture. But I want to give you another perspective, right? So I think we should go to a very different environment. London. So our team from Brazil went to Europe to join researchers from UK and Netherlands at Villiers High School, a school located in Southall, which is in the suburb of London. The director of the school gave us this amazing opportunity to observe their environment and their pupils and help them to reduce the increasing aggressiveness among the students. So the project took place in 2 steps. The first step was a diagnostic where we understood the local reality and the aspirations of the students. During the process, the most recurring words of the students were the wish to leave a mark. That can be quite common, you know, every teenager wants to leave a mark. But considering that among 40 students, we identified 30 different nationalities and backgrounds, the simple wish to leave a mark became something important to explore. So based on the entire, so based on their desire and the necessity of the school of creating some form of unity out of this diversity, we went for the second step, where we interviewed the whole school community, teachers, students, and staff, asking them, what's your ingredient for peace? The recorded answers were compiled into a video briefing and given back to the students. Based on the entire school ingredients, the students drew their own interpretations, crossing all the information collected. Using the drawings, we created an installation in the main yard, this large concrete area, and this area was targeted by the students as an uncomfortable place with little significance. Guess why? There's nothing there. So this installation, a mandala of 12 meters in diameter, made from drawings produced by the students, created at low cost a bidimensional space, a kind of square that changed the relationship with the place. The word mandala comes from Sanskrit. Loosely, it's translated as a circle. But a mandala is far more than a simple form. It represents fullness and can be viewed as a life structure itself. After the project, other schools from different places gathered there in the following month to celebrate peace in the schools and the value of differences. So we are talking about different contexts and cultures, different approaches and process, right? Considering what design can do. Then I brought a third perspective. What our aim wasn't to improve the income generation or create unity out of diversity. This time, the challenge was to enable educators to produce learning support materials for children attending a rural preschool in northern Mozambique in Africa. So the Aga Khan Foundation has these projects related with sustainable architecture and early childhood education. The School of Impiri was part of this project that has built units in the region to demonstrate new construction possibilities and encourage the use of local raw materials. So the preschool was beautifully made, but apart from a blackboard, there were no toys or instruments to entertain children aged between 3 and 5 years. So working with Emile Badran, the project coordinator, and the Brazilian designer Lulu Pomo, we decided to create a workshop to encourage local educators to take ownership of their surroundings, developing, building toys, and making it a realistic teaching tool appropriate to the context. So we started our activities with a walk through the village, collecting all the available material, discarded or local in nature, with every possible material gathered. Here they were collecting some fruits to try to make some pigments, right? So with every possible material gathered, we invited educators to come into a tight tunnel where, recalling their childhood, they would think of toys with the materials we previously found. The first production was very free, totally created by the educators who found themselves able and skilled, producing dolls, cars, and musical instruments. This first production became a realistic starting point. From that, we could start proposing new directions, more structured and based on appropriate pedagogical needs. Through these activities, the educators have rediscovered their surroundings, realizing that the materials they had there can be transformed in many ways. As they gained familiarity with the materials, they felt more confidence to produce new things. While we were working, lots of boys, as you can see, lots of kids were curious watching. And then when these glasses come out, every boy in the village wanted to have one. And the best is they could design and personalize by themselves. I think that when an idea is taken by them and they are adding to it, is a good example of appropriation. So, and that's what we were looking for, right? So never before, the act of producing toys has been a collective activity of exchange of ideas and cooperation, lacked the notion of sharing and comparing to overcome. And that comes from working together. During the 6 days of activities, we reinforced the importance of playing and the possibilities they had there as educators. The scarcity we saw at the beginning has become possibility. All the experiences I show you assume design as a process. In all cases, there was a research, of course, but no predefined plans. We didn't know what we would do as a final product, but we knew why we would do. I guess we were driven by something bigger, maybe the wish to make a difference. And that, I think, has driven us to how to do it. Somehow this, so since this is a truly participatory process, what to do became a consequence, grounded on many elements founded locally. I believe each place can be its best inspiration, and I see design as a powerful creative tool to enable action towards local transformation. Of course, we are talking about a very humanistic and empathic approach to design. Empathy really drives the whole process. But I believe this kind of appreciation is a good start. It can make a big difference when, in the end of the road, we are looking for a good life for all. I think that's it. Thank you.